Hello and welcome to MS Report Episode 5. I'm your host, Second Soundwave.
How's it going, YouTube? Dan the Plastic Man here. As Second said, this is MS Report Episode 5. We've got some fun news for you guys, but on to our third host.
MaxDuo with nothing really extra to say.
Classic.
I wanted to say, like I mentioned before, I was making little notes of things that popped up over the past week, and I like the top one where I said where it just says, "We got more shots of the Lightning backpack. It still looks the same."
It really does, and they just cement that trailer pretty much is cemented in the fact that that is intended to go on the Lightning Gundam, and that kind of disappoints me.
It
Like
disappointed.
when I first saw that silhouette of the Scramble Gundam, I was like, yes, okay, there's a new Lightning Gundam that it goes on, and it won't clash horribly with it like it does with the normal Lightning, but then they're still showing the Mark III backpack with the Lightning, and they're showing it with it in the trailer, and I'm kind of bummed about that, because I was hoping that there'd be a new Lightning that doesn't look terrible with the backpack.
I'm actually pretty bummed about it too because as good a designer as Yuma is, why in the name of all things Gunpla Holy would he make a backpack that is red for a suit that is a light gray blue?
It looks like the kind of thing that was like a mid-battle repair or something almost. Like,
But what would it have come off of?
I don't know,
I
like it's like some like build upgrade that like someone else made for him to use that he like used at the last minute or something is what it looks like to me.
Could be something like, "Oh no, somebody stepped on the full burning backpack before the battle. Let me toss this on."
Well, wasn't it destroyed when he was fighting the Tryon or the end or something? Like, I seem to remember the Lightning getting really heavily damaged at the end of Try.
It was
I
first.
think pretty much all of it was pretty much gone. But
Well, yeah.
but I mean,
So,
I could see him rebuilding the whole thing and then having it break and having that as a patch up job, because otherwise it seems really weird to just be like, let's make this thing here, unless he
it
took
does.
the artistic genius thing. It went too far to his head, so he started to make weird stuff.
Because,
Here's my
like,
question though, guys, if I may.
sure.
No,
The basic upgrade for the Lightning Gundam appeared to be the Lightning Zeta, so where's that?
yeah,
That's the other thing that bugs me that I was going to mention is he has the Lightning Zeta. Why would he go back and rebuild another Lightning?
it does seem weird. They kind of like they make these little models at the end of a series and they just kind of like forget about them or drop them off. Like, the final episode of the original Build Fighters is just like, here's this new thing, here's this new thing, here's this new thing, and well, we've not really seen anyone from the original series battle since.
Hmm.
Niels is in the OVA though.
Yeah.
Well,
He's
he
probably
could
just
probably
going to be
still
there,
be the
though. Like,
same role,
yeah, he's
same
just
role
going to
as
be like,
Try.
hmm
he's going to be just there, and that's it. Just
We'll
there.
talk about science, which is kind
Yep.
of funny when I think about it. Like, yeah, I know he fell in love with Gunpla at the ending or so of Try. It's kind of funny. He spends the whole series like, I need to find out this stuff so we can use the Plavsky particle to better humanity and make all this science stuff and medical stuff and blah 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 blah. And so far, all it really looks like is he's just made more and more Gunpla battle stuff.
hmm
Well, maybe he's already done the medical stuff, and this is just what he's doing afterwards.
Would be.
Like, this is his sort of retirement hobby or whatever.
Yes, let's go to his institute, the special school for building Gunpla and battling them. Not a medical facility or anything.
Nope.
Yeah. I guess more stuff on like Try and mentioning kind of into the new OVA and everything. I'd also made a note like once I had looked at the Quanta Kai more, and I know I mentioned this before, like I mentioned this several days ago I think, but I know everybody was saying it looked like it was Shia's Gunpla for a while. I
And it
started
is.
wondering. I started wondering for a bit before we got the shots of it today if maybe it could be Wolfried's or maybe they worked together just because it had the little lance tips of his from it. But I guess
No,
not.
that's just. I mean, like, maybe she either used parts from the transient to make it, or, like, just it happens to be, like, a similar design element.
Yeah. Well, for a brief moment, I wondered if maybe they were bringing back the kind of like one-on-one battles, and maybe he and her were a team for that.
Oh,
Kind of
yeah,
like
yeah,
in
yeah,
the
I could
first
see
show,
that.
but
Right,
I
right,
guess
yeah.
maybe not at this point.
No, not likely. And then what did interest me was that Well, I mean, I noticed it. No one else has really brought it up at all, so I'm just going to bring it up now. There's a scene at the end of the trailer where apparently, like, all three of the Tri-Fighters members, like, activate some super mode on the Tri-Burning where it, like, glows all three colors at once.
Not only does it do that, but it heals itself.
Yeah. I mean,
weren't they saying in Try at one point that that was like impossible or couldn't be done, that it could heal? So that was when they were trying to say how awesome Shia was because she built the little robots.
hmm
And yet, Team Tri-Fighters just came up with more Gunpla magic.
I mean, I really shouldn't be surprised since it's Try, but I'm just still kind of disappointed in that.
Well, I was saying to Dan earlier today, like I almost kind of wish we had like an alternate timeline Try or like a early Try or something, or a small tournament Try, or not Try, but Build Fighters like things in general, because both series basically ended up as basically Dragon Ball Z by the ending. I mean, Try was definitely like just Dragon Ball Z for like half the series, which I think I mentioned this the last recording we had. I always thought it was hilarious by the ending. You've got the winning can transform and fire its gigantic, huge winning beam.
W-shaped laser.
Yeah, and then the Tri-Burning can transform into a phoenix and shoot phoenixes and stuff. And then the lightning is just kind of here's something you'd see in Zeta. Yeah.
It shoots big laser.
Yeah, it looked like it belonged in Zeta, and everything else was Dragon Ball Z.
Yes.
But we do have some new stuff to talk about as far as, of course, kits being announced. We do know now that, of course, Gyansalot is Gyanko's. She's going to be using that in the Tri-Fighters
Island.
Island Wars, yeah, sorry. Train of thought completely derailed. Even saw a clip of the back half of Axis falling to Earth, which is ripped straight out of Char's counterattack, so I don't know what that's going to symbolize.
It's going to symbolize fan service. It's just going to be, hey, look, here's Axis.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's going to be. It's going to be another one of those.
I did like the shot of Gyansalot, though, from the way its cape looks in the anime.
Yes, it looks very epic.
Yeah, especially since some of the recent pictures of the Gyansalot makes it look like the plastic for it is not as good as it originally looked like. Like, those first images looked awesome, and then the magazine shots, it's like, maybe it's because it's on a white background, but every shot after that's like, oh, it looks like they used something cheaper on it now.
Yeah. I mean, at least it's not like the Versal Knight or whatever, where they gave it like a paper cape. I mean, that's still like the worst thing they've done.
The paper capes, and the crossbone gets like the little rubber cape.
Mm-hmm.
And then we found out that Double Zeta 2 belongs to Mr. Tryon 3.
Tryon guy, yeah.
And Mr. Super Fumina, so at least he finally designed something that looked good.
I mean, it fits the style of the stuff he's done. It's like a Zeta-y thing. Which makes sense considering he always kind of had, like... He had a rivalry with, like, Yuma, right? Like, as kind of like a builder thing. Yeah,
he's
so it
Yuma's
makes
rival.
sense that, like...
And they both made blue
sense
suits.
that they both made Zeta types, yeah.
Yeah, I really liked the Mega Shiki.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember building that, and I remember actually goofing up and giving it a lower grade than it deserved. I'll just put that out there. But then we finally, in the very last moments of that trailer,
Scramble Gundam.
Jinx.
I said it before you, though, technically.
I think I got him a little first. And he's got more lag too. Yes, we all seem to be fans of the Scramble Gundam.
Yeah.
You know what's the thing? I just noticed something. Like,
Hmm.
all of these have, like, the, tentative name in parentheses next to them, but, like, I mean, Lightning Backpack Mark II, okay, that's probably going to be the actual name. Scramble Gundam, okay, that seems rather specific for a placeholder name.
Yeah, it's not like MS5 or
exactly.
Gundam,
It's not like
Gundam
MSA.
C.
It's Scramble Gundam. Like, that's really specific. And then we have Bear Guy P. Okay, it's pink. I can imagine that being the case. And then we have, Quanta Kai, and it's like that's the only one that still sounds like a placeholder name.
Yeah.
Like, they literally just call it, like, Build Fighters Quanta or Quanta Custom, or just I think it's weird that we haven't gotten an actual name for that one and only that one.
Yeah, for as long as we've kind of seen it for now too. I mean, I guess it's not been that long, but it's longer than some of the others that seem to have, concrete names.
Mm.
It might. They may call it Quanta Portant.
Maybe.
I mean,
It is. She
possible.
is.
Q
It is
portent.
hers.
Yeah.
Maybe. It is her. I mean, like I said, it is hers.
Mm.
I do remember, like, we saw her GP base in the trailer. I guess it was probably blocked, but I wonder how much of the name you can see on there.
Mm. Oh, true. I didn't think to look for that.
Because I know I looked at the name on it, I was like, okay, well, that cements it, but I didn't really look any further.
Right.
Hmm. I actually did want to mention something else, or I guess some other things before we had today. All right. Actually, did we have anything else for Build Fighters Try?
No,
Try
they just
Island?
revealed the Scramble Gundam. That's literally the only thing they revealed,
Okay.
other than the
Maybe,
stuff in the trailer.
maybe I was just thinking about the fact that we saw the trailer and new shots of all the Gundams, because before now it's just usually been the exact same shots.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay. Well, I also I just keep wanting to call it Try Island, and then I find myself almost saying Tryland for the name of a series.
Tryland.
That'd be my tentative name. Um, I know I'm like interrupting what I was going on anyway. I was saying to Dan earlier today, like even the thing about it being this like island tournament series seems hilarious to me because all it makes me think of is like any of the big super long anime out there. They all will randomly have the point where everybody goes to a beach or everyone goes to an
Yes.
island, has a tropical day. It's like, okay, the world's ending, but here's a filler episode instead where we all go play on the beach and
Wait for the
splash.
manga to catch up.
Yeah.
Fan
so
service.
like I see that, and that's all I can think of. Like filler episodes or like DLC for games sometimes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the colored line art pictures of the Quanta Kai, and it's actually calling it 00 Shia Quanta.
Well, that's. I mean, we got Kamiki Burning, so I mean, it's possible that that's what it's called, but
Because she is completely crazy for him.
I have trouble believing that that's an actual official name they would use.
For a moment, I thought it was just going to stop at 00 Shia.
No.
Oh, I didn't want to say one other thing. I was kind of jumping off of Try before, I guess, talking about everything, but as much as I like the Scramble, I really hate its transformation.
I mean, it's not really any
does
different than the usual.
Yeah.
Like,
I was gonna say it does like
transformation.
what Wing and Wing Zero and whatnot do, but it like to me at least it looks less convincing even because it's just kind of it falls down face first and that's about it. I mean, I guess the legs do actually do the little spin around transformation that's usually done as well, but just maybe it's because of the shot they took of it, but it just does not look too convincing to me, especially because the angle still shows you the head sitting right there in the chest and.
I like the fact that they're using the Destiny wings on a transforming suit. That's kind of neat to see those used like that.
Yeah, it is big time. Now, are those actually fully Destiny, or would those be like Destiny Impulse?
Those are Destiny. I mean, they added like some Plavsky energy crystals to them or whatever, but those are Destiny.
Yeah, and definitely from it being the Destiny, as far as like figuring out people, who could be piloting it, I still think it's the boxing guy from Try if it has it, just because his kid brother kept making the Destiny over and over again.
Although the thing is, every time I think that, I just see the Plavsky particle crystals or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know, like that seemed like a thing they'd reserve only for like the main characters and stuff. And every time I see that, I'm like, I don't know. I think that's Sei, but.
I do think it. I think it is Sei because it just screams the RG system that he came up with when he built Strike.
I definitely like how big the Plavsky crystals on it are as well, just because you can see like little line details and stuff in them. Like I've seen it before and it always looks good to me, but at least like the pictures we've got of it, I think it looks like just really awesome just for that and its kind of weird color of orange it has.
Yes, it's an orange Gundam. We have like what? 3 of them, and all of them are from 00.
Yeah,
like,
sounds
really,
about right.
I can't think of a single orange Gundam that isn't from 00. Like, at all. Wait, no, wasn't there like an orange Gaia Gundam in Destiny?
Waltfeld's.
Yes, okay, so there's another orange Gundam, but still.
Yeah, but even in that case, it was just like a slightly customized regular unit.
No, it was just
the Scramble Gundam's also a customized regular unit, so.
Well, the Scramble Gundam
regular in the sense that
is a crazy build fighters unit.
Yeah, and I guess it isn't
has
directly based off anything, so.
It has magic, probably.
Mm. Oh, almost certainly.
Oh, but I did want to say like before like we got all this stuff this week, we did finally see what that premium edition thing for the full armor Thunderbolt Gundam was.
Yeah, just like some cage
Couple
and guns.
couple rifles and a hanger,
Did
which
did you?
is hmm?
I was gonna say, did you forget? It comes with the damaged head.
No,
That's the Nanju.
Wait, oh God,
that's a
no,
Sanju.
yeah, sorry, I had full armor wrote down in here, and then I just went straight to Sinanju.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, what are you talking about? The Sananju set's awesome. I'm gonna try to get a hold of that because I just recently saw that episode 3 where that they had like the scene that's based off of, and as soon as that was done, I was like, okay, there's got to be a version of the Sananju that like has that head, right? And I looked around. Apparently, the robot Damashi has it, but only like the animation version, which is apparently the harder to find and more expensive one.
hmm
So I was like, I don't know. But then, excuse me. But
You're
then,
taking Dan's place of dying this week.
yes. But then, hang on, lost my train of thought.
Since like the damaged head's never really been around on these before.
Yes, but then I look, and then like immediately after there was like the RGP Bandai set that we mentioned months ago. We know what it is now, and it's a head, and it's the figurine of the Echoist guy, and it's the bazooka, and that's cool. I'm definitely gonna get that.
Yeah, I think it's
The
funny
thing
because
is,
like I thought it was an awesome addition. I was really happy with it because everybody just figured, oh, it's going to be the rocket gun.
and it is,
You get three
but
things,
it's also the head.
and you get a little tiny figurine. Which, when I think about it, like I'm looking at master grade little Garrod figure off to the side over here with how short it is, and I'm thinking, oh my God, little 1/44th one of that is going to be puny.
Have you built a real grade?
He has
Nope.
not.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute, you're saying that like you've never built one of those before, but I guess you have.
I didn't remember it coming with them, but I've not really looked through anything other than just what the kits look like. So
Every real grade comes with 1/144th pilot. You don't get a sitting pilot to the cockpit, but you get a standing one.
I just always look at this like this is so puny. I don't have the patience it would take to try to paint this. So now I'm just looking at like here's a gray man or a little white man.
Hmm. That's exactly how I see it. It's just that's what you would. That's kind of like stuff for guys who do Warhammer 40K and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, I did like the theory that someone had as well for the
And
figure.
part of it,
that's
part of the
coming
reason
with,
I've never tried painting a pilot is because you have to mix like very small quantities of very specific paint colors,
yes.
and that just seems like kind of a waste to me,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you have
That's
to
one-
make like an eyedropper full of this color blue and then this flesh tone and then this hair color and stuff, and like that's a lot of mixing for just a little tiny bit of paint.
Yeah. No, I definitely hate trying to think about, let me just make this little, 2 millimeter space of it here for painting this guy, or let me waste like a big dab of it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Not knocking anybody who does that. It's just that it's not for us.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, the teeny tiny little effort, I'm like, oh God, no. Like, I'm not even really going to ever have them in a good spot to see them either. I mean, if I put them in the shelf next to the Gundams, like, it's going to be, from most angles, obscured by the foot or anything else near it.
I mean, I keep mine up on the shelf, like kind of like just sitting at their feet, and they're pretty visible, but like still, I mean, it's not like. I feel especially less so with the 1/100, but more so with the 1/144. I feel that at that scale, you kind of don't need to paint them, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, as they're small enough that they can kind of get away with just being single color.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely like one thing that always kind of bugs me on them is the same thing that bugs me on like a lot of kits if it has a ton of weapons. Like it drives me crazy if I can't put everything on via Gundam or whatever. And I know sometimes it's just like, okay, well this guy's used like 20 things, so it can't hold them unless it's like Thunderbolt. But
oh man, you know what?
It's like, man, this is just something that's going to go in a Ziploc bag somewhere.
That is how I feel every time I try to repose or do something with the Destiny Gundam, because like there's just too much stuff with that thing. Like you got the railgun, you got the giant sword, you got the beam saber boomerangs, you got the normal beam sabers, you got the rifle, you got 2 different shields, you got the hand thing, and it's like he only has 2 hands, and a couple backpack connectors, and that's it. And it's like,
Yeah.
and the problem is, it's
Like, I
not
love
like
all
there's
these
any.
things, but
Exactly. There's no like lame weapon you can just throw to the side. They all look good. So it's like there's no. Just it irritates me every time I try to do something with that.
yeah.
And my
Yeah.
headphones are about to die.
Oh no. I'll say, I think I mentioned this last week. Like when I finished the Astroff, one of my biggest things that made me sad was I literally can only attach the demolition knife to the back. So its really nice little combat knife is either going to have to go in a box or sit on the ground next to it, or its gun is going to have to go in the box or sit on the ground next to it.
Yeah.
I was going to mention, I like what somebody said about that figure with the Sinanju bow. Since obviously it's not full frontal. Well, I mean, I don't know why it's obviously because they gave us his name, but they say it'd probably be him holding the bazooka up, ready to die.
Yep.
I guess it goes well with the damaged face, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's if we were going to include a figurine with it, would make sense for it to be that, since that was the only other guy really there in that scene. Unless it's just like an angry Venager or something.
Are you using the onboard microphone for your laptop?
Me?
Yes.
No, are you hearing like echo?
Yes.
Okay, that's because I had to stop using the headphones because they battery died.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm using the onboard speakers on my tablet and the onboard mic. So.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yep. Is that like creating like kind of feedback or?
Not really feedback, but I can hear a very tinny version of myself every time I talk.
Oh.
Reminds me of something my manager does at work that drives me crazy. She will talk to us on the speakerphone, and
like
so I'll hear
enough
someone
to
talking on my right,
her.
and I hear them on her speakerphone to the left. It's this weird echo.
I could try like covering the speakers when I'm not talking to see if that keeps it down.
Well, that fixed it.
A little bit.
Yeah. Well, we could just maybe move on, just quickly go over the IBO stuff, because I actually got to do my Gunpla News video on this tonight, too, so I don't want that ending up being too late.
I'll say, I'm interested in the new Barbatos name, like, they're calling it Lupus, rather than just Form 7.
I mean, sure. It's a full upgrade, so that kind of makes sense. And what I noticed is that, like, the Barbatos and really everything from IBO's always had kind of like a skinny waist. But
yeah, it's kind of fatted everything up.
Like the promo poster, it looks like super crazy skinny and even more, even more so than like the previous one. But then the kit looks fine, so I'm not really sure like which of those is going to end up being a closer indication of what we're getting.
I'll say certain joints of it just got kind of extra big or whatever, like the shoulders are bigger, the crotch is kind of bigger, the knees, at least in the picture, the knees look bigger, but now that I look at the actual model in here, it's not bigger.
I wasn't really a fan of the extra red on the shoulders at first, but it's kind of grown on me. Like, I first saw it, I was like, I don't know, and then I've looked at it a little more, and I kind of dig it now.
It's growing on me, too.
I was about to say I thought you liked it, but then I remembered you didn't like that. You just liked the rest of it.
I was about to say, though, looking at the weapons on these, it feels like they have a much sleeker, sort of more high-tech look to them.
Maybe.
Like, don't you get that from it? Like, they look less medieval and more like futuristic medieval.
Some of them.
Like, especially if you look at the ones that have, like, direct parallels in the first season. Like, if you look at the new, like, what are they calling it, like Gundam B or something that's very obviously like a souped-up Goujion remake. It looks like way sleeker and stuff.
Yet it's still got a
that was the first one I noticed.
Shield on its back.
Yeah. I was going to say, that was the first one I started thinking, like, a ton of these designs look like they just replaced all the curves with straight lines.
Yeah, it does, really. I wonder if they got a new mechanical designer for this season, or if it's the same person.
I guess we'll find out.
I mean, it's close enough that it probably is the same designer, but...
I'll say one thing that keeps bugging me on the new Barbados is the weird, gigantic V-fin it has.
It's not really any bigger than the old one, I don't think. I mean,
It actually is a little bit.
it is.
And
Well, I didn't
it's
notice.
got like a big
I
loop
noticed the
around
new
the blue
chin.
part.
I noticed the giant red chin, but I didn't really notice the V-fin being that much bigger than it was before.
Well, the old V fin was just kind of like a regular V fin, and then it had the like little white part behind it.
Uh-huh.
But now the new V fin has like a big giant yellow part that circles the sort of like blue shape behind it.
I mean, I'm kind of working off my memory right now since I don't want to kill the chat by trying to go look at pictures of it, so I'm just not going to really add anything to that. But I will say I'm kind of interested in, like, there's two new grunts that they showed off too. There's like the kind of super grays, I'm calling it, and then there's the one with the gear on back. And the super grays, I mean, it's not really. It doesn't really grab me like the other grazes do. I'm honestly not that impressed with it. But the gear back one does look pretty cool to me.
The new Grays looks like it's supposed to be underwater,
I
just
can
for the
see
color.
that. And like
And
it does
the
look like it
smoothness.
has like not propeller packs, but like those underwater propulsion things on its back.
Yeah. One other thing on the Barbatos that kept standing out to me is the booster things on its waist. They used to have a little two parts that stuck out. Now speaking of it being more sleek, it's just like one tiny little point, but it looks like it opens up.
The one that
And then
I'm the
there's the other
most
two-
interested in.
Then there's those other two Gundams they showed off too. Like there's the one with the double cannons, and then the other one that I honestly. Oh yeah, the other one that I can't remember anything about, and I'm honestly not sure if it actually had any distinguishing features to bring up. But there were two other Gundams.
Yeah, the one is. I'm dubbing it Astaroth Artillery.
Is that the one with the shoulder cannons?
Yeah, because it's got the Astaroth head.
Okay. And there was that guy in the trailer that kind of looks like the guy from Steel Moon or whatever it's called. So
I think he just happens to look like him, because he's got both of his like human
there's
hands,
a close
and
resemblance.
RG's supposed to have a robo hand.
When does Steel Moon take place, though?
Hmm.
Like it could take place after the second season.
I'm thinking it's before, just because there's regular grazes in it.
True.
I know it at
The
least
way
is
that-
after
I'm not,
season one, because
there's nothing-
the enemies in the second episode are using leftover man robies.
There's nothing really saying that they have to stop using normal grazes once the newer ones come around. I mean, like, look at the Universal Century. You've got 1-year war suits being used all the way up into the 0090s. So
True, but I still just kind of felt like it was probably older.
anyway, there's those two Gundams, and then there's the Gearback, the Super Greys, Barbatos Lupin, and the Yushion Rebake 2. And I think that was pretty much it, right? Oh yeah, and there was the upgrade set with the kind of missile pack mobile worker.
I was gonna say, with the one that has like the gear looking back, I really like the weird head shape that it has, but I kind of worry about one of the images that they released, because right next to it says option, and then it shows a gun and two swords, and I'm really hoping that doesn't mean that you have to get those through an option weapons pack.
I'm thinking I think that just literally means option parts.
I hope
Like
so.
they're showing the option parts that come with the kit, is my impression from that.
I hope so, because they also released the image of what kind of kits they're going to
schedule.
release for it.
Well, they're doing
And there's
5 new weapon sets.
Yeah, 5 new weapon sets in there, which are just shown off by the little mobile workers.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that you get those with the kit, but it seems like the most almost worthless part, because it's just this one teeny tiny thing of one color. I mean, it's kind of the same
it's not
thing as
even-
far as the master
And
grade figures, because it's just a tiny thing that's really hard to paint.
None of the mobile workers are even the right color anyway, so it's
We can't hear you at all right now. For how your mic is right now, I'm hearing myself louder than I'm hearing you.
That is weird.
There
How
we
about
go.
now?
Yep, now you're loud.
Oh, okay. Well, I just cover the speakers with my hands.
Oh, you were covering the mic before?
No, I wasn't covering anything. Before, I had my hands completely off it. Now I just grabbed onto it and kind of cut my hands over the speakers, and I have my mouth right up to the mic. That was pretty much it, right, for IBO?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
Okay,
did
so
want to
I'm
say one
gonna.
thing with that weird Gundam Type B was the where it looks like it holds a rapier in its missile pack.
I'm gonna just drop out now because I'm having tactical stuff over here, and I kind of want to do my own video for this as well before it gets too late. So
As
you
you're
two
going into
guys can
robo
kind of
mode.
continue on your own. I'm gonna drop out early and go on to other stuff. So see you guys.
All right,
Bye
take
bye.
care.
Bye bye.
His voice was really falling apart at the ending there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Th-
they haven't shown a kit for it, but I did like in the trailer. I guess like Tekadon has a new like its own like GM like mobile suit.
mm-hmm.
I kind of like that. It's weird little like ninja visor. It pulls down over its main sensor.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool, pretty cool feature.
But then everything I was gonna mention was like when I was looking at the release schedule of the kits and stuff earlier today. Obviously we saw like the four kits they're releasing in October, and then there's two in November that haven't been revealed, three in December, one in January, two in February, two in March, and they're just all high grades. And then there's four 1/100ths, which obviously Barbatos Lupus is one of them. And I assume there's going to be another form of Barbatos that gets one.
Possibly. I'm looking here, and they just announced the dates for the Gunpla Expo World Tour 2016 in winter, which is they're saying Akihabara, but I'm pretty sure it's Akihabara. Yeah,
Yeah,
they just
yeah.
fixed the typo. November 19th. So that's
Yeah, it said 19th through 23rd. I had pulled that up as kind of a mention of like, hey, we can probably get a lot of good stuff here.
you would hope.
What I'm really hoping for that, since they're not telling us anything about master grades ever, and it doesn't seem like any more coming this year, is surely at that they're going to at least announce one master grade, preferably more than one, but surely they can't go past that without revealing one.
They would at least have to give us one, possibly one for 2017.
Yeah.
But then that's just going to lead me into my rant about what the heck are they doing. So I'm going to save that.
Yeah. That's the only other thing I had thought I was going to mention was like I'd mentioned to you earlier today, when you look at the Build Fighter Tri Island War like release schedule thing, it's just like here's a ton of stuff coming out in August and September, which is really weird thinking that the Scramble is coming out in 2 months now when they've just released it because of how many other models they have where they show them off, then they don't come out for 4, 5, 6 months. But then after that, like I mentioned, it's like, okay, well, we've got one kit coming in November, one in January, one in March. So what are those high grades going to be? And then there's one shown in December where it was like a blurry shadow of one. I don't know if that means like, this is something we might do, or if maybe it means like we're going to make a master grade of something or what.
It might, given the where it is, I think it might be a build custom part. Like the K9 pack or the BWS or the full Vernian pack for the Lightning.
Could be. So at the same time, it's just looking at that like, okay, well, is this going to be another thing without a master grade?
Yeah.
And I think the only other like news thing to mention at the moment is like what we mentioned before the call. They showed that Gundam series schedule. I mean, obviously, it's like, okay, this is how long 0096 goes, and here's IBO, and then the mysterious thing of what looks like original Gundam, then Gundam Wing, then Gundam Seed. Like, what is this? Is it re-release in
What are they?
Japan of DVDs or?
What are they getting at with that?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we'll find out as time goes on. But right now, we just don't have any kind of any idea.
Yeah. Well, I guess the big part of the problem for us is just the fact that we can't read it, because I was going to say it's weird to release something and not have any explanation of what this image means, but I mean, there's text next to it, so obviously it says something there. We just don't, as people who don't read Japanese, know.
Well, I can't really think of anything else to talk about, so.
Well, I had pulled up. I guess this wasn't really a question. I pulled up a comment last time that Ezekiel had mentioned. It wasn't really a question or anything, but he was saying in response to something we made comments on the last video. He said Savior and other 1/100th kits are being reprinted this July. And then I thought this was funny. He said, looking forward to my Gundam X. I don't know if he meant just like my thoughts on it, or if he thought I was going to make a video. I have no intentions of doing any videos, but mine's not fully done. I can give some thoughts on it in a bit, but it's not quite finished. But yeah, I definitely like when those kits get reprinted. I want to get a lot of the 001s and the Savior I'm kind of interested in getting, so there comes a spending nightmare there, depending on how worried I am that, they run out.
Very true. Very true.
It's funny, I'd also made a little note at the ending to be like, hey, what do you guys think of the figurines? But we already kind of discussed that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every time I see them or think about them, it's like, I really like that this is included, but I just, I don't really have a way I want to display them. I can put them in my glass case with the other ones, but it's not really going to be too visible in there next to everything else. So it's just like one of the things where it's like, now it's got to go in a box. I'm sad.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Yes. I guess, though, we also brief mention of what we're working on, though. My Gundam X Master Grade is fully done aside from the whole satellite cannon assembly on the back. Like, I've got 2 parts of the X, and I've got everything else kind of cut out and cleaned up, so I'll put those together probably before the night's over, and I'll probably be done with the whole thing tomorrow. I wanted to make a brief mention of, like I mentioned this to you earlier, I love I don't say Buster rifle, I love the beam rifle it has. It's really easy to switch between forms, but I really hate that it doesn't have like a latch or something to lock it into either mode. Because like I try to close it real tight and it just kind of like wiggles against itself. I'm like, oh no, I'm doing something wrong. Oh no, it just doesn't do anything. It just hollowly touches itself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like it looks nice and all, but it feels kind of flimsy for that. But ultimately, I'm probably going to have one hand holding like a beam saber and the other one getting ready to do something with the cannon. So I don't know where that rifle is going to go. That'll be too important.
Yeah, it's just something you got to decide to work with.
Yep, depending on however much I want to repose it and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know you said earlier today you were like a third of the way through with the Camaris.
Just the frame, not the external armor, but the upper torso, the head, and the upper arms are complete frame-wise. Because the way these IBO 1/100ths go is you build the whole frame first, and then you put the armor on top of it. So, yeah, I should finish up the entire frame tomorrow at lunch. Might even get started on the external armor.
Mm-hmm.
But I will go ahead and say that I feel a little better about this one compared to the Gushin.
Yeah, since that one was 1.5 kits in one.
Mm-hmm. I really wish I could pin down what it was about it that just disappointed me so, but I can't.
I was trying to remember, like, when you did your unboxing, you were kind of like, oh, when you saw some of the just gigantic green pieces that were all one part,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're like, well, this is a no grade. I think like you had also built some really good kits before it, and then it being a no grade, it's not even like a revive, so you have to either get lucky or you might get a bad one. Like my Grimgird. My Grimgird was fantastic. I really like that one. I don't have many complaints about it at all. Like I think there's 1 or 2 things that were a little weird when trying to pose it, and it's like awkwardly. I mentioned it in the podcast when I finished it. Like it's really stiff. Like I feel like I could just toss the heaviest weapon I have in its arm, and its arm will just sit there and do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's nice for that, but it's really weird when I'm posing and it's just like creak, creak, and I'm like, move, struggling with it. I mean, it's not that hard, but it's the stiffest moving of all the kits that I can recall ever having messed with.
Yeah, that's one thing that newer kits are definitely doing right, is they're going not so much with polycaps, but they're just going with good plastic on plastic joints.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Which I was going to say as well, the Gundam X, I'm a real big fan of the kind of sliding armor gimmick its knees have.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was real nice to build and see how it ultimately came together and move around without the armor on it. Which I did want to comment, like you talk about how the IBO kits make you build the frame first and then add the armor on. I kind of almost wish all kits did that because it's really nice to see how the frame is beforehand, rather than like, okay, well, here's one part, now I'm putting the armor on top. Now here's the second part, I'm putting the armor on it. Now I'm putting them together. Like, I mean, you could easily just go about it on your own route, but, well, not always, I guess. But it'd be nice to just kind of see how they are as just a frame without having to take it back apart and put everything back on or whatever.
Yeah, I remember. That makes me think all the way back to when I built that very first Master Grade New Gundam, how I was so impressed with being able to show it off like in a hangar scene where the armor is actually off the suit itself.
Yeah. Oh, when I made my mistake earlier where I said full armor Gundam and I meant Sinanju,
Hmm.
and you guys were like, no, it only came with the hanger, and I was kind of confused because like I was thinking of the Sinanju, and I think I just read one thing while I was thinking another. So even when you guys were saying like, no, that's the Sinanju, I was thinking, wait, I thought I said that. But like my note on the full armor Thunderbolt Gundam was just kind of like, it says weapons and armor hanger, and it just kind of shows an illustration that looks like a hanger. So, uh, I did like an image they showed sometime before that though. Like I know they've shown it before, but like it was everything was out on the floor. Like all the armor was taken off, all the pieces were taken off, and it was just like all the additional weapons and pieces and extra armor you put on the full armor Thunderbolt was taking up like 90% of the picture. And here's a Thunderbolt just kind of sitting in the back.
Hmm.
It's like, oh my god, just kind of a sign of like this thing will take forever to build just for all those weapons.
Yeah, it will.
Like you
But
put the Sinanju together and it was super complicated, and that one's just going to be like, all right, I've done weapon 47 of 300, keep going.
yeah, you probably mean Sazabi, don't you?
Yes. Did I say Sinanju?
You did.
I was like, I said an S word, I think.
Well, I can't really think of anything else to discuss as far as this cast is over. So, for those who are watching and still with us, thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know we had a couple technical difficulties, but we'll work those out for episode 6. Thank you guys for watching again. If you liked it, leave us likes, subscribe to us, and leave us comments. We love getting to know you guys. We love answering questions. So, take care of yourselves, guys. I will see you next time.
In the middle of saying bye-bye, I do want to say somebody did subscribe to me, and it's like, well, I'm eventually going to make a video of something, so I guess that'll pop up.
Mm-hmm.
I thought of one other thing I was going to mention. Oh, I'll say our technical difficulties. The saddest thing about that, as I was going to say at the start of the cast, like, hey, we didn't have any technical difficulties this time, and I didn't say it, but apparently thinking it alone, jinxed it. So, without anything else, I'm going to say this is MaxDuo with nothing else to say. So, bye bye.